This is going to be a very relaxing topic, and I will speak very relaxingly. So it's okay, don't worry. Now, do me a favor. Just pretend that I am black. No? You don't want to pretend? Okay, I pretend that I'm black. The reason is, I've always wanted to speak in a black church. It's so fun. So I'm giving you permission. You are allowed to, if you agree with me, you just do what you do. You know? Amen. Yeah. Oh. All right, brother. Mercy, he says just now. Right. Go on. Yeah. You can do that. I think it's fun. It's better than in my church back home. I don't know, they are like robots, you know. I speak, they just stare at me. I give a joke, they also stare at me. And after the sermon, they come, oh, Dr. Henry, your jokes is very funny. There's no facial expression. Right? You know, I think they are like AI. You know, what's AI? Absolutely introverts. So they don't. Okay, now mind. So I'm from Malaysia. So greetings from Malaysia. Right? Malaysia is the second most beautiful country in the world. Second, we want to be the first, but you South African have taken the title. So please do come to Malaysia, visit us. We are as friendly, we have good food. Come and do business with us, invest, right? We promise, Scout Honor, we will not increase the tariff. All right, something serious. Today's topic is Jesus the Philosopher. I'm going to talk about the Christianity is an intellectual faith. Since I'm from Asia, I'm Chinese, so let's talk about some Chinese stuff. First, I'm really glad to be in South Africa. This is my first time in this country. This is my first time in Africa. My very, very first time. In fact, my very first time visiting a country that is in the Southern Hemisphere. Yeah, first time. Do you know that since when I was a kid, this is what I learned from the school. You know, our teachers are not that smart. So he says that, do you know that in the Northern Hemisphere, when you flushes the toilet bowl, the flushes, the water goes one side, clockwise. And if you go to the Southern Hemisphere, you flush, it goes counterclockwise. And I believed that for 47 years. And when I was young, I said, one day I will go to South Africa or New Zealand, the most southern part, so that I will check. How do I check? I mean, we don't have internet at that time, so what we do is I plan, okay, I'm going to call my friend. Right, I'm going to flush now, so you flush, you tell me, is it right or left? Well, but finally I found out that it's not true. It's not true. The direction of the water flow is based on the design of the toilet bowl. So, yeah, finally I get to South Africa. I told my wife, do you know that I'm going to South Africa? Wow, I'm going so south, I can almost touch Antarctica. My wife says, yeah, another 8,500 kilometers away. Oh, it's that far. So anyway, I love this country, and we have learned so many things. I've made mistake like by believing that the Southern Hemisphere and the right side and the Northern Hemisphere is different when flushing. So these are the things that we learn. A lot of things we learn, we keep it as something like we believe it, but it's a misconception. So it's good to learn. And definitely there are many stuff that you believe that it may not be true. So it's good that we learn always, we ask questions. And what I'm going to do is that tell you that Christianity is an intellectual faith. We think, we learn, right? Oh yes, say it louder. I'm black, say it louder. Oh yes. Okay, now, when I was young, there is a button. Right, these are some of the things that we believe as Chinese. We Chinese also have superstition. We believe, when I was young, what we do is when we call for nature, as a boy, it's all right. Huh? When we answer the call of nature, we can do it anywhere. Right? You girls, I don't know. So we boys, we can do it anywhere. And I got my favorite rocks, I got my favorite tree, I've got my favorite drain, I can do it anywhere. But the adults will tell us, do not do it anywhere you like. Always go to the toilet. Why? Because, in the rock, there is a spirit. In the drain, there's also a spirit drain, The god of the drain, the god of the trees. If you do that, the pee will drop on them, and they will be very angry, and it'll make you sick. Worse still, you will die. As young kids, we were very afraid. We were very afraid. Is there South Africa? Is there like something like that? No? Oh, good for you. You can do it anywhere. So I asked the adults, wait a minute. If the gods of the trees and the gods of the rock, they should be very good in child psychology. They should understand children. We do not know anything. They should be forgivable. But they said, no, you better be careful. But there is a trick. It says, there's a trick. All you need to say is a statement. We learn in Chinese, "Jame olio." It means, excuse me, I'm going to pee. So we know. So we have no problem. We go to pee anywhere. We just say, "Jame olio." Again, I ask adults, wow, this magic word, this authoritative, As long as I say this word, I have approval from whatever spirit. Then again, I think. When I was young, I like to think a lot, and I ask a lot of questions. Wait a minute. Just because I say these 4 words, these spirits will believe in me. This spirit will give me permission. Wow, means I have power to control the spirits. Which is not true. Yes or not? So I'll give you another example of what we believe as Chinese. There must be a button, right? Yeah. Which button? Yeah. 4. The Chinese doesn't like the number 4. Why? Because in Chinese, the number 4 is 死. It sounds like 死. 死 means death or die. So it sounds like death. So no, it's not good. Don't use the, this Chinese character. Don't use. So they don't like 4. So if they buy a house, they would not want to have 4 as their address. If you buy a car number plate, they do not want to have a 4 on the number plate. Yeah, let me show you to you. See, even when they build high-rise building, you look at it. There is no 4th floor. There is no 14th floor. There is no 24th floor. There is no 34th floor. They just take a 4 away. Yeah. Or some houses, if it's like 10, it's 9. Wait. What number? Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 4th house, they change it to 3A. 3A. The 4 is out. So again, I asked the adult, wait a minute. Just because it sounds like death, we cannot use 4. Yeah. The adult said, yes. you should use 8. 8 sounds like prosperity. So, the Chinese love 8. Is our very lucky number. Again, I ask, what about those Americans, those Africans? They use a lot of number 4. They don't know. I mean, if this is true, the whole cosmic control of the world, if it's true, then number 4 will apply to everybody, isn't it? And adults say what? I say, what about the African? He says, forget about Africans. That's why they are so poor. And we are so rich. Well, it's not true. Okay, let's see what are the things that we believe. Yeah, so now, in the Chinese New Year, the very first day of Chinese New Year is that we do not sweep the floor. Why we do not sweep the floor? We do not cut the hair because they believe that maybe the God of prosperity will come and visit you during the Chinese New Year. So if you sweep, you will sweep them away. If you cut the hair, you cut them. They'll get angry. So instead of the God of prosperity prosper you, it will curse you and you will get bad luck. So we do not sweep the floor on the first day of Chinese New Year. Again, when I'm young, I say, this God of prosperity is really blind. I mean, can't he see that we are sweeping? Can't he just move away when he see we sweeping? Oh, excuse me. So, I mean, actually, I believe that for many years. Yeah? And I like it because I do not need to sweep the floor during the first day. I do not need to work. All right. This is wait. I think I clicked too fast. Right. The Chinese also believe that when the person dies, they will burn paper car, paper money, paper house, paper dolls, everything paper. Why? So that it can be used for the dead person in hell. Yes! What? Is it your first time? Yeah, we burn all that. When I was young, they don't burn paper handphones because haven't been invented yet. But now they burn paper handphone. And I say that, your uncle, the deceased uncle, were not able to use this paper handphone in hell. So why not? I said, it's because you forgot to burn paper satellite, paper tower, and there's no data. Right, so see, these are the paper houses, big houses, and they burn it so that they can have a nice house to stay in hell. Yeah, this is paper gold, gold bars. Gold is very important in hell. This is hell money. The whole stack of hell money they will burn. This is hell currency. A few years ago, my grandmother passed away. So the other non-Christian family, they will burn. I says, come on. Grandma was not able to use this in hell. I says, why not? Because heaven does not recognize hell currency. It's just, isn't it? Right. I mean, look at that. Wow, one piece of this hell note is 1 million. I don't know, dollars or rand, I don't know. So it's 1 million. If you want, I'll buy some for you the next trip. And you can become millionaire. Right? You can use it to exchange to the money changer. Or can use it in what? Kuda Forex exchange. Something. Right, okay. Yeah, this is the break hell's gates ritual, very famous in Hong Kong. When a person dies, the Taoists believe that they will reincarnate, right? They will reincarnate. So what they do is they try to break the hell's gate so that they can go through reincarnation smoothly, rather than get trapped, rather get limbo. So they will dance. I will not perform to you, right? So they will dance, they will jump over the fire, and as leading the dead out from hell to prepare them for reincarnation. That's a Chinese belief, right? Do you know that once you guys were all Chinese? Yeah, because previously you were Chinese. That's why you successfully reincarnate to South Africa. Right? Yeah. This may be your last stop. Okay. Right, we don't believe it. Okay, right. I'm sure you have heard of Feng Shui, right? Feng Shui, the word Feng Shui, the Feng means wind, Shui means water. So they believe that this element of wind and water, is all surrounding the metaphysical world, that whatever you do, you arrange, you buy your house, make sure it's face north, south, west. Even your bed, even sleep, either your head, is facing north, south, west. And then they get the Feng Shui master to calculate. Oh, you were born in October, right? Yeah. Oh, you have three sisters. Oh, sisters, female are considered evil. Male, sorry, not evil. Negative. Oh, male, positive. So therefore, you sleep, you need to face west. Otherwise, no luck. Something like that. So yeah. But how do we able to rationalize it? How do we able to have evidence? There's no evidence, isn't it? How to prove? So it's just a Chinese belief. It's a belief. Right. So how does this introduction connect to my message today? How does it relate? Jesus is a philosopher, Christianity being an intellectual faith. Well, we are very lucky that Christianity is unlike most of other religions or cultural practices. It involves reasons, right? That's what our Zion McGregor have already said. So it makes my talk easier. Yeah. Okay. We will also learn that Jesus set the example, his character and words when responding to challenging questions. This is his character, and this is what we do, what he does, and because of what Jesus does, we will emulate, we'll copy what Jesus does. That is his example that he has set for us. 3, not just simple answers, but Jesus gave rational, intellectual reply, applying philosophical principle. Afterwards, I'll give you some example of philosophical principles. And we know that's why I say that, wow, Jesus is the greatest philosopher. He applies philosophical, logical reasoning. Encourage us that our faith is an intellectual faith, not just blind faith, and not just based on feelings. Because if just based on feelings, anything goes, isn't it? Anything goes. So, right, 5. Okay, hence, we want to be prepared, defending for intellectual attacks. So if we continue to learn more about our Christian faith, again, as our brother Zion McGregor says that we need to learn, the real money. So if you keep on learning the real truth, read your Bible, then you can able to defend from whatever false accusation. Okay. Now it's proof that Jesus is not crazy because man does not know how to give any philosophical answer. Have you ever met madman that gives philosophical reasoning? Not really. They will talk something which is not coherent. It doesn't. It's not logical. Right, so does Christianity encourage critical thinking? Yes, it does. Have you read in the Bible, in the Gospel, when they asked Jesus Christ something, when the Pharisees or the lawyers, when they challenge Jesus, or when the disciples asked something about Jesus, did Jesus say, just believe? Have faith. Don't ask so many questions. For me to know, for you to find out. No. Jesus never said that, right? Jesus answered them, isn't it, logically, right? Okay, this one is generated by AI. I just said, please generate a picture for me that Jesus said, just have faith, And the AI says, sorry, this is sensitive. I have to scold the AI several times, and then it comes up with this. Okay. Right, now, okay, this is important. Have you read anything about in the Bible when Jesus wants to debate a Pharisee, when he wants to teach the disciples, when he wants to heal? Have you ever seen Jesus get into a trance? Start dancing? Or the Chinese one, Chinese one. Right. Have you ever seen? No. Right? Now, so he just, what does he do? He just speak ordinary, just like a normal man, right? Lay his hand on the sick person. Can he get healed? Isn't it? It doesn't need to be dramatized. Not like those medium, shamans, witch doctor. They have to dramatize. Why they have dramatized? Because we cannot rationalize. Because if you ask a shaman, why does it work? He cannot explain it intellectually. So he just have to dance around, to dramatize, to try to convince you that it's some kind of spiritual matter. Right? Now, which is easier? To give an intellectual answer, or to, like act as though you're in a trance? Which is easier? Act in a trance, isn't it? All you need to do is just shake your body. right? But the intellectual, the way of answering, you need to learn. You spend a lot of hours, right, to learn. And it's very important. Right. So, can a madman apply philosophical principle? No, Jesus can. Right? I'm going to show you some philosophical method that Jesus used. He used law of non-contradiction, a fortiori, argument, reduction, ad absurdum. Now the message is getting tougher. Modus ponens, escape the horns of dilemma, utropro dilemma, ad hominem. I'll just give a few examples. Right? When it's time's up, you just tells me. Time's up. Time to stop. You just tell me. Okay. Right, let's take the first one, law of non-contradiction. What is law of non-contradiction? Contradictory statements cannot be the same at the same time. Right? For example, A is not non-A. A boy is not a girl is not a boy. Amen. Yeah. There's no in between, There's no between. Either you're a boy, man, or female. No, okay. A cat is a dog, and a dog. Sorry. Cat is not a dog. Okay, a cat is a cat. A dog is a dog. It cannot be this cat is actually a cat and a dog, and this dog is actually cat and dog. No. It contradicts. It contradicts, right? Okay, simple. Isn't this 2 plus 3 is 5. It cannot be 6. It cannot be 4. It cannot be 7. It cannot be 9. It cannot be 65. It will only have one answer, 5. Because you can't not go against this simple principle of logic. Simple, isn't it? That's what you learn in school. You learn maths, right? 2 plus 2 is 4. You can tell the teacher, no, the world is subjective. It can be 3, it can be 5, it can be 6. Yes or not? And the school teacher says, okay, I fail you. So what you fail me? Oh, the world is subjective. I like to fail. I like to pass you. So. Right. Now, these principles forms the foundation of all knowledge. Take, for example, Matthew 7, 15, 24, 24. All these words, go back and read. Okay, go back and read. But what it tells you that Jesus Christ tells you clearly, be careful with the false prophet. So in other words, there is a false prophet, there is true prophets. When you ask about Jesus Christ a question, he gives you a clear answer, a very clear answer. Right? And if you read the John 8, right, 32, the truth will set you free. Huh? So in other words, Jesus Christ emphasized absolute truth. Nothing, not ambiguous. It's not ambiguous. It's not vague. So Jesus Christ don't give contradictory, ambiguous, or self-defeating answer. Unlike some other religion. Some other religion, if you ask them questions, they give you very mystical, ambiguous, vague, high vocabulary, or they even create their own vocabulary that you don't understand. And you don't understand because this is secret. Only people who are highly spiritual can understand. You have not reached that level yet. You don't understand. I'll give some example. I don't want to name the truth is all truth. I know the truth is all truth are subjective. Right? Sounds very logical, but it's wrong. If the truth is all truth are subjective, then that sentence is also subjective. It may be right. It may be wrong. Isn't it? Everything is real and it's not real. Both real and not real. Neither real or not real. There's this one religion, it says the world is an illusion. So is it real or not real? Now if it's elusive, then why do you move away when the truck is coming? It's just illusion. But so you ask the religious leader, should I move away when the trucks come? If you teach me that everything is illusion, the religious leader will say, you move away. Otherwise you die. Right. So Jesus doesn't teach all this. I said, I'll teach you how to go to heaven. And then he says, and yet I do not know whether I go to heaven or not. Can you catch this? It's simple. He's very humble. The person who says that is very humble. I do not know whether I'm going to heaven. See, I'm not arrogant. Say, I will definitely go to heaven. He's so humble. Is it? But if you're humble, then you're not sure. Then you're not even sure that you can guide me to heaven. So this is ambiguity. Ultimate reality being both formless and various forms. So same thing, form, no forms. Believe nothing. This is from Buddha. Believe nothing, no matter where you read it or say it, no matter if I have said it, unless it agrees with your own reason and your own common sense. Again, humility, but stupidity. What does it mean? It tells you, believe nothing, even I tell you. Right? Okay, I don't believe in you. Right? If I don't believe in you, then I don't believe in this statement. Now, another episode is that when the disciples asked Buddha, who are you? Are you a god? No. Are you a spirit? No. Are you an angel? No. Then what are you? I'm awakened. Huh? What? What do you mean by awakened? Right? How awake is awake? How enlightened is enlightened? So you see, ambiguous. They like to use this type of mystical words to make it very spiritual. Cult leaders are great at it. They are good at this. Right? Cult leaders are good at this. Jesus is not. Clear, non-ambiguous. So Jesus also used a fortiori argument. What is a fortiori argument? Big words. Okay, it means, in Latin, it means with even stronger reason. For example, the truth of idea A is accepted. Second, the support for the truth of idea B, which is relatively similar to idea A, is even stronger than that of idea A. What does it mean? Now, it means that if A is acceptable, right, and B has even more convincing, stronger power than A, so therefore, B is also acceptable. It's easy, isn't it? This is what we call, the philosopher call it the a fortiori argument. Therefore, if the truth of idea A must be accepted, then if B is even stronger than A, then B should be accepted. So you can read these passages which Jesus used a fortiori argument, but I want to concentrate on one example. Okay, never mind. Give you this example. If studying hard leads to passing an exam, that's A, and studying with both hard work and using a smart technique is even better, then of course you will study and use good techniques of study, and definitely you will even have better chances in passing the exam. So this is called a fortiori argument. Let's see what Jesus example. Right, Jesus used a fortiori to his healing work on the Sabbath. Remember? On the Sabbath, Jesus healed this woman and the Pharisee. Ooh, you're healing. You are working on the Sabbath. You are going against the law of the Sabbath. Right? And that's what Jesus said. Now, Jesus actually said that if you Jew lawfully release animals from its confinement on the Sabbath out of concern of animals' well-being, because the Jew allowed, it's an exception. If your animal got caught in a well or something like that, you can actually save the animal. Why? Because it's dealing with life. Life is very important. So the Jew allows this exception for the other Jews to do work to save an animal during the Sabbath. So, idea A, Jesus says, but then a woman's well-being, deliverance from a chronic, debilitating illness is far more important than saving the animal. Isn't it? The human is more important than the animal. If it's more important than the animal, why are you making a fuss that I'm healing the sick person during Sabbath? That is what we call an a fortiori argument. See, Jesus is a great philosopher. Right? So, if you're right, therefore, if watering an animal on the Sabbath is not on the Sabbath violation, the healing of women in Sabbath is not a violation of the Sabbath. Right, number 3, reductio ad absurdum method. Oh, what is that? Don't worry, philosophers love to use difficult Latin words just to tell you that we are smart. Right. Yeah. So, what is reductio ad absurdum? Reductio ad absurdum is reduce something to its absurdity. It's quite difficult to explain. I just have to read it. See, this is an argument, takes one or more ideas and demonstrate that they lead to an absurd or contradictory conclusion. This proves that the original idea must be false. Understand? Understand? I don't. Okay, right. Let's see the second one. It can be used to disprove a statement by showing that it would inevitably lead to a ridiculous, absurd, or impractical conclusion, or to prove a statement by proving that if it were false, then the result would be absurd or impossible. I'll give illustration afterwards. To reduce an argument to absurdity by drawing conclusion with logical limits or by showing ridiculous consequences. Like if somebody claimed something, he argued, he used a particular argument, and then you use his logic, his argument, to show that it leads to illogical conclusion. For example, I'll give some. Let's say, okay, this is a garden which is owned by Johan, right? He developed a garden with trees, flowers, plants. He's very proud of the garden. And then he's worried. He's worried on how to maintain the beauty of his garden because animals may come to the garden and start eating his plants. Okay? Got it? So he argues. He creates an argument, a policy for himself. He says, if I want to maintain the beauty of the garden, then no living things are allowed to be in the garden. If the living things come in the garden, they will eat up my plants. Right? So, very good argument. But then his friend says, hey, his friend used reductio ad absurdum. He says, but if we follow the logical end, we can argue that the plants are also living things. So, if based on your argument, we also have to take away the plants. Yeah, it's absurd. And then you will have no garden. That's simple, isn't it? It's simple. Reductio ad absurdum. So, Johan's argument to stand, he must rip out all the plants. I'll give you another example. Sometimes you use that, but you didn't know that you're actually using reductio ad absurdum. Right? I'll give you another example. Right, mother and child goes to the candy shop. Okay, mother and child were in a candy shop. Child took a sweet and put in the pocket. Right? There's a lot of candy, and then put one sweet only in his pocket. And his mother says, hey, don't do that. This is wrong because it is stealing. Wow, the child is very... Child says, he argues, he comes up with an argument. There is only one sweet, and the owner will not notice it. Right? Imagine there's 1,000 sweet. You take one, no difference. No pain. You won't feel it, isn't it? Well, it's a very good argument. Smart child. But the mother is smarter. The mother used reductio ad absurdum. It says, if one sweet is allowed, then everyone who comes in take one sweet, and if 1,000 people comes in and each person take one sweet, no more sweets, all right? And then the owner will go bankrupt, isn't it? So this is reductio ad absurdum. Right, let's see what Jesus, so in other words, the child's argument is absurd. So Jesus also used reductio ad absurdum. Matthew 22, 41 to 46. Something about, David called the Messiah Lord. Something like that. It says, if Christ is merely a human descendant of David, because this is after when Jesus Christ actually, in a way, indirectly claimed divinity. So that says that this Messiah here is God himself. Right? So, he said, who are you? So it says, if the Christ is merely the human descendant of David, David could not have called him Lord, isn't it? So Jesus Christ is actually quoting from Psalms 110, verse 1. So now, but David did call Christ Lord, isn't it? If the Messiah comes after David, so the Messiah will be the son of David. Right? And David would be more superior than the Messiah. Right or not? But then David called the Messiah Lord. It's absurd, isn't it? It's absurd. So therefore, this Messiah must be somebody greater than David. Yeah. So, to believe Christ was David's Lord and merely his human descendant, who could not be his Lord, is absurd. Smart, Jesus. Right? Okay, give you another example. Matthew 12, 25 to 27. Here Jesus have just performed an exorcism. Right? He chased off the evil spirit from when the woman is quite possessed. And the Pharisee says, he's using Satan's power, the power of the devil, right? So, and what Jesus says, if Satan were divided against his kingdom, the kingdom will be ruined. If I use Satan's power, fight against Satan's power, they fight, it will be ruined, isn't it? So, Satan's kingdom, however, is not ruined. It's still there. Right? Why is it still there? Because people still get possessed by demons. Right? It's still there. So therefore, it's not ruined. So to think otherwise that Jesus says, to think otherwise that I use the power of the devil, then it will be absurd because the kingdom of the Satan will be in ruin. So therefore, Satan does not drive out Satan. And Jesus cannot free people from Satan by satanic power. It's absurd to say that. See how Jesus, step by step, using a philosophical way of arguing. Smart. Okay, modus ponens. What is modus ponens? Modus ponens, if P then Q. Have you heard that before? Huh? No. You are using it every day. Huh? If P, then Q. Right, never mind. Modus ponens is a fundamental rule of inference in classical logic. It states that if a statement is true, then the second statement implies the first, then the second statement must be true. So if the antecedent is true, then the consequent is true. If P is true, then Q is true. I'll give you some example. Okay, P implies Q, P is true, Q must also be true. Okay, don't worry. I know. When I was your age, when you see P, Q, P, P, I go crazy. Let's go slow. Okay? If the cage is empty, P, then the lion escaped. Q. Right? So if the cage is empty, what happened? It means the lion escaped. So, what happened? Okay. P, the cage is empty. So what happened? Q. Therefore, the lion escaped. Easy. Isn't it? So Jesus also used the modus ponens. Now, how does Jesus use the modus ponens? Matthew 11:4-6. Now, you read this part, John the Baptist is already in jail. Right? He's already in jail before he was beheaded. And he asked John the Baptist asked his disciples to go and ask Jesus, are you still Christ? Right? Well, some people interpret that John the Baptist already lose his faith. Maybe he wants to ask to reconfirm his faith. Okay? So, never mind. The disciples went to Jesus and says, hey, John the Baptist is asking you, are you the Messiah? Are you the Messiah? And what did Jesus say? Jesus didn't say, I am. No, he didn't do that. Right? So what he does? He says, the blind can see, the deaf can hear, the lame can walk. Right? You've seen me heal, yes or not? Go and tell John the Baptist what you have seen. What does it mean? If one does certain things of action, P, if he does, then the consequence is Q. Then he is the Messiah. Yes or not? How to show the person is the Messiah? He performed miracles. Yes, so if P, then Q. Jesus doesn't need to claim, he doesn't believe. Tell him, I am. Trust me, I am. He doesn't do that. He gives you the evidence. What do you see? Go and see. The evidence is there. Go and see. The blind can see. The deaf can hear. There's a P there. P. Therefore what? Q. It's true. I'm the Messiah. I am doing those kind of action. Therefore, I am the Messiah. Simple. Now, I want to detour a bit from here. Right? Why doesn't Jesus say, just claim, just say it, I'm the Messiah. Go and tell John the Baptist, I'm the Messiah. Go. Say, I say. Why? I'm sure you have friends in South Africa or other parts of the world. They challenge you. They say, if you can show me in the Bible just one single, clear, unequivocal verse that say, Jesus says, I am God. I become Christian. I'll become Christian. Can you find? And you say, no, I cannot find. Therefore, Jesus is not God. Have you ever, they love to ask this type of question, isn't it? Jesus doesn't do that. Why? Why Jesus doesn't do that? Because if Jesus does that, it says, because I claim, therefore I'm God. Right? Then Damon also says, I claim also. I also claim. Therefore he is God. Isn't it? Anybody can claim to be the Messiah or to be God. So what does Jesus do? Evidence is more important. How many of you are lawyers here? Or have got a law degree, or have studied law, or will become lawyers? You go to court. The judge is not really bothered about whether you say that you are guilty or not guilty. Because sometimes people confess, they are compulsive confessor. They're just being forced by the police. Oh, yeah, I did. They make a deal with the police. Right? Or they don't know their crime. They don't know it's a crime or they got a good defense. So they just confess. And they plead guilty and they go to jail. Right? Or they may just say, I'm innocent. Of course, most of them will say innocent. And the judge doesn't bother whether what you say, whether you are innocent or guilty. The judge wants evidence. Evidence is more important. Just like husband and wife, isn't it? The wife is very smart. The husband keeps on saying, I love you. Darling, I love you. Every day, wake up, I love you. Lunchtime, I love you. Before you sleep, I love you. During your sleep also, you snore. I love you. I love you. Does the wife really believe it? It's just words. Action is louder than words, isn't it? So Jesus Christ knows. It's not just claim. Action. He used modest ponens. He says, if I do this action, I'm God. Can anyone does that? No. Simple. Now, escape the horns of dilemma. It's going to be the last one. Escape the horns of the dilemma. Jesus Christ is smart. Because the Pharisee, the lawyers always want to catch him. Right? Ask. This is what lawyers love to ask. They ask a question, you say yes, guilty. You say no, guilty. That's what lawyers does, isn't it? I'm very good at it, actually. Okay, never mind. Got time, I'll share my testimony. What the Pharisee does is, they want to catch Jesus, and if you say this, you are wrong. If you say that, you are wrong. They want to catch. But Jesus is so smart, he can escape the horns of the dilemma. What does he do? Okay, let's see. Right, Matthew 22, 23, 28. The Sadducee asked Jesus, hey, this woman, got a husband. And the husband died. Based on the law of the Jews, have another one. And not another one, must be the brother. Must be the brother. So he says, but the brother also died. Then the third one, and the third brother also died. The fourth one also, the brother died. So they got 7 brothers, all married, and then all the brothers died. If you are the brother, by the time you're the 4th brother, you wouldn't want to marry her because she's so unlucky. You will die also. I wouldn't want to marry her. So anyway, that is the question. That's the issue. So when they die and they go to heaven, whose husband is she? So they want to trap Jesus. Yeah, because they don't believe in the resurrection. If Jesus said, everybody's, if he says this person's husband or the first one or the youngest one or all the seven are husband, then Jesus is actually saying there's a resurrection. Right? So, but he also cannot say that there's polygamy in heaven. So what Jesus say? Jesus says, haven't you heard? There's no marriage in heaven. Yeah, there's no marriage in heaven. And you guys, why are you looking so sad? There is no marriage in heaven. They got something better. Definitely not 72 virgins, no. Okay, tax to Caesar, this is a common one, right? Rabbi, should we pay tax? If Jesus say no, it's against the Roman government. If Jesus said yes, the Jews is very angry. Oh, you and the Roman government are all friends. So what does Jesus do? He's trapped. Yes, cannot. No, cannot. So what Jesus say? Show me a coin. Whose inscription is this? And everybody says, Caesar's. Renders to Caesar, belongs to Caesar. Right? Render to God, that belongs to God. Fantastic. I'll give you a last example. John 8:31, adulterous woman. Huh? Adulterous woman were caught. Rabbi, under the Jewish law, if this woman is caught for adultery, we should stone her to death. So, should we stone her to death? If Jesus says, no, don't do that, because I teach about forgiveness and love, then they will accuse Jesus for going against the Jewish law. And if Jesus says, yes, go, you are hypocrite. You talk about forgiveness, talk about love, and then you want her to die. So, throw stone, cannot. Don't throw stone, cannot. So what does Jesus say? He that does not sin, cast the first stone. Fantastic. Everybody run away. Because everybody sinned. So this is what Jesus does. He escaped the horns of the dilemma. So and there are plenty more philosophical principle, logical principle that Jesus used. So why are we preaching? Why are we talking about this? So it's to show that Jesus does use philosophical, logical principle, and we supposed to follow Jesus. Right? We also use philosophical principle. Simple as that. How? To learn critical thinking, to be smart. There's lots of stuff to learn. Okay? I like to quote Dallas Willard. He says, we need to understand that Jesus is a thinker. That this is not a dirty word. You know, some people think that the word think is a dirty word. No. Some people even say that, philosophy is the dirty word. Don't use. It's not a dirty word. But it's essential work, and that his other attributes do not preclude thought, but only ensure that he is certainly the greatest thinker of the human race, the most intelligent person who ever lived on earth. He constantly uses the power of logical insight to enable people to come to truth about themselves and about God from the inside of their own heart and mind. So what Jesus says. So this is the conclusion. Christianity is not based on blind faith. It's not just based on feeling. Do whatever you like to do. No, there's objective truth. There's objective fact. And it's rational, intellectual fact that we should follow. Okay? It's not just cultural practice. Not a religion that does not need any rational, thoughtful reasons. Because there are a lot of religion. They do not argue with you. They really do not argue with you. They're very nice, friendly. If you argue with them, they are still very friendly. They just smile and say, okay, your religion is your religion. My religion is my religion. Yeah, if it's good for you, good. It's good for me, good. That's it. You know? Why? Because he got nothing to rationalize. Anything goes. But Christianity is not like that. Right? Because if anything goes, just like our brother, where is he? The McGregor guy. Yeah, Zion. He says, if anything goes, then the witchcraft is correct. Right? If you worship Satan is also correct. No, it's not true. Right? Christianity is not just blind faith, but philosophically sound. Jesus encouraged us to use our mind, not belief, without reason. Did Jesus Christ say that we should use our mind? Yes, of course. He says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Say mind. Mind again. Mind. I always want to do that. Because Dr. Eric Mason used that. He used that. So I also want to use that. Say mind again. Good. Right. So lastly, this is what I say. I always say this to my students. Now, if you want to follow Jesus' role model, then his philosophical apologetic method should be emulated. We should follow Jesus' style. Right? We can find many verses on Jesus using philosophical principle in his argument. Plenty. But how many verses can you find Jesus spoke in language no one understands? Can you find any verse? Any verse when they challenge Jesus? Jesus, why do you heal on the Sabbath? Jesus, why do you this? Blah, 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 blah. If Jesus don't do that, we don't do that. Isn't it? Right? So, this is some example. This is actually about 3% of what is written in this book. If you really want to know more on the philosophical principle that Jesus, the disciples, the Bible uses it, buy this book. I heard that is award-winning book. Yeah, Zanale Arlington Jane. So, if you like my message, buy my friend's book. Thank you very much.